The battlefield stretched across a frozen plain on the distant planet of Kirelia. The sky was not blue but a mix of green and gold, with twin suns casting long shadows over jagged ice formations. Soldiers from many worlds had gathered here, but the humans were the youngest and smallest among them. Among the humans, a boy named Liam stood out. He was only 17, the youngest warrior in the fleet, yet he carried a quiet courage that made even the oldest veterans respect him. Liam's hand rested on the hilt of his plasma sword, the energy blade humming softly as he watched the horizon. Alien warships circled high above, their sleek metallic forms gleaming in the sunlight. From the top of one hill, a group of commanders observed the battlefield. General Varn, a towering alien with silver scales and 4 arms, frowned as he looked at the human lines. Humans were not known for their strength in interstellar war, but there was something different about this youngest one. Suddenly, the skies parted, and a bright figure descended. She moved with grace that seemed almost unreal. Her skin shimmered like polished metal, and her eyes glowed with a soft violet light. This was Princess Solara, the daughter of the Kirelian High Council. She landed lightly in the snow, and the ground seemed to respond to her presence. The wind carried her hair around her shoulders like liquid silk, and the entire battlefield fell silent. All eyes turned to her, including Liam's. He had heard stories about the Kirelian royalty, but seeing her in person was unlike anything he had imagined. She raised one hand and pointed across the battlefield. Every soldier froze when her voice echoed in their minds. It was not loud, but it carried power beyond words. The princess said, "The youngest human warrior, he will be mine." The words sent a ripple of surprise through the ranks. Many of the older soldiers looked at Liam with confusion. The humans whispered among themselves. Why would the princess choose him? He was small, inexperienced, and the last person anyone would expect to be singled out. Liam's heart pounded in his chest, a mixture of fear and curiosity. He did not understand the meaning of her words, but he felt their weight. Princess Solara walked closer, each step deliberate and filled with authority. The ice beneath her seemed to glow faintly as if acknowledging her power. She stopped a few meters from Liam and tilted her head slightly. Her eyes scanned him, and Liam felt a strange warmth spread through him. It was as if she could see his thoughts, his fears, and even his dreams. "You possess a fire that cannot be taught," she said softly. "You will face challenges that will break even the strongest, yet you will rise above them. You are mine, not in body alone, but in destiny." Liam struggled to speak, his throat dry. I don't understand," he managed to say. His voice was small against the vast silence of the battlefield. Solara smiled faintly, almost kindly. "You will understand in time. But for now, know that your journey is different. You are meant for greatness beyond your world." At that moment, an explosion shook the ice behind them. A group of enemy drones had launched a surprise attack on the human flank. Liam instinctively drew his sword, the blue energy blade lighting up the snow. The humans around him moved to defend their position, but Liam felt an unusual calm. He was scared, yes, but something inside him told him he could face whatever came next. Princess Solara raised her hands and a wave of energy swept across the battlefield. Enemy drones froze mid-air, their circuits overloaded by her power. The humans cheered, but Liam's eyes remained on her. He realized she had not only chosen him, but had just protected him in a way no one else could. After the battle, the human commanders gathered in a tent to discuss the strange events. Liam sat quietly, his sword beside him. He kept thinking about Solara's words. Why him? What did she mean by saying he was hers in destiny? Captain Rel, an older human warrior, approached him. "You did well today, Liam. I've never seen anyone fight with such focus." "But what did the princess mean when she pointed at you?" Liam shook his head. "I don't know, Captain. She said I was hers, but I don't understand how." Rel frowned. "The Kirelians don't make such statements lightly. If she chose you, it could mean many things. Power, prophecy, or something even greater. You need to be ready for whatever comes next." That night, Liam sat by the frozen river looking at the twin suns dipping below the horizon. He thought about his family back on Earth, the small town he had left behind to join the human fleet. Now he was not just a soldier. He was part of something bigger, something he could barely understand. The weight of destiny pressed on him, but it also made him feel alive. He remembered Princess Solara's eyes, glowing with violet light, and the way she had spoken directly to his mind. He had felt no fear from her, only a quiet confidence. It was strange, but for the first time in his life, Liam felt that he was not just living for survival. He was living for a purpose. Meanwhile, far above in the Karelian command ship, Princess Solara watched the young human from a distance. Her advisors whispered warnings, but she ignored them. The boy had something rare, something she had been searching for across the stars. He was unshaped, untested, but the fire in his heart could not be hidden. He was destined for more than just war. He was destined to change the course of many worlds. Solara knew her choice was dangerous. Many would question her judgment even within her own people. But she had never been one to follow the path others laid for her. She had seen the future in fragments, and Liam's place in it was clear. The question was not whether he would survive, but whether he would rise to the challenge she had set before him. The night passed quietly, but for Liam, sleep did not come easily. He kept thinking about the princess and the words she had spoken. He did not know what lay ahead, but he felt that his life had already changed in ways he could not yet grasp. In the cold silence of Kirelia, the youngest human warrior was no longer just a boy. He was the one the alien princess had chosen, and the universe was waiting to see what he would become. As the first light of the suns touched the icy plains, Liam stood once more, sword in hand, ready to face whatever trials awaited him. He did not know the full meaning of destiny yet, but he understood one thing. His journey had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The morning after the battle on Kirelia was cold and quiet. Snow covered the plains like a soft blanket, and the twin suns reflected off the ice, creating a sparkling light that made the whole world look magical. Liam walked along the edge of the frozen river, his mind still full of questions about Princess Solara and her words. He felt the weight of destiny on his shoulders, but he also felt a strange strength he had never known before. Captain Rel approached him, carrying a small tablet. "Liam, the High Council wants to meet you," he said. "It is not just a request. It is an order. You need to go to the command ship." Liam hesitated. He had fought alongside humans for months, but he had never been singled out in this way. "Why me?" he asked. "I am just a boy, Captain. There are stronger soldiers than me." Rel placed a hand on his shoulder. "Strength is not always measured by muscle or weapons. Sometimes it is measured by courage, by heart, by the ability to rise when others fall. The princess sees something in you that we do not fully understand yet. You need to go." With a deep breath, Liam followed Rel to the shuttle bay. The ship was sleek and silver, much larger than any human vessel he had seen. It hummed as it lifted off the ice, carrying them toward the sky. As they rose, Liam's eyes were drawn to the horizon. The alien landscape stretched endlessly, mountains of ice and crystal towers that glowed faintly in the sunlight. It was beautiful and dangerous at the same time. Inside the command ship, Liam was escorted to a large chamber where Princess Solara awaited. The room was circular, with walls that seemed to ripple like water. Light came from the ceiling, soft and warm, illuminating her figure. She was sitting on a platform that floated a few inches above the floor, her violet eyes fixed on him. "You have come," she said. Her voice was calm but carried a strength that made Liam feel small. "I am here, Princess," Liam replied, bowing slightly. Solara smiled faintly. "Do not call me Princess, not yet. Today we begin your training. You must learn to understand power that is not only in weapons but in your mind and spirit." Liam felt a mixture of excitement and fear. "Training? I am a soldier, Princess. I know how to fight." Solara's eyes softened. "Fighting is only one part of war. Strategy, patience, and understanding the hearts of others are just as important. You will learn to see beyond what is in front of you. You will learn to see the threads that connect all living things." The first part of the training began in the chamber. Solara raised her hands and the walls glowed, transforming into a holographic battlefield. Figures appeared, representing enemies of various forms, from drones to alien soldiers. Liam raised his sword instinctively, ready to strike, but Solara stopped him. "Do not act first. Watch first," she instructed. "See what moves them, see what makes them hesitate. Your strength lies not only in your arms but in your mind." Liam watched carefully. The holographic enemies moved with precision, testing his reactions. He noticed that some paused when he shifted his stance. Others hesitated when he made eye contact with them. Slowly, he began to understand what Solara meant. He was learning to read the battlefield, not just fight it. Days passed, and the training grew harder. Solara pushed him to his limits. teaching him to control energy flows within his body, to sense danger before it arrived, and to make decisions under pressure. Liam fell many times exhausted and frustrated, but he never gave up. Every time he stumbled, Solara's eyes encouraged him, reminding him that failure was part of growth. One evening, after a particularly difficult session, Liam sat outside the chamber, looking at the stars that filled the sky of Kirelia. Solara joined him, her presence quiet but comforting. "You are learning quickly," she said, "faster than I expected." Liam smiled weakly. "I do not know why you chose me. There are stronger humans than me, smarter ones too." Solara shook her head. "Strength and intelligence are important, but they are not enough. You have something rare, something even I cannot teach. You care, Liam. You care for others, for your people, and even for worlds you have never seen. That is why you are mine, not as a servant, but as someone who can stand beside me and change the fate of many." Her words struck Liam deeply. He realized that he had always tried to be brave, not for glory, but to protect those who could not protect themselves. He had never thought of himself as important, yet here he was, chosen by a princess from another world. The calm of the night was broken by an urgent alarm from the command ship. Lights flashed and the walls vibrated slightly. Solara's expression changed from calm to alert. "An enemy fleet approaches," she said. "They have been waiting for the humans to be distracted. They will strike soon." Liam felt his heart race. This was his first real battle alongside the Kirelians, and he was unsure if he was ready. Solara noticed his hesitation. "Do not fear," she said. "Fear is natural. What matters is what you do with it. Trust your training, trust your instincts, and trust yourself." The human warriors gathered on the bridge of the ship, preparing for the incoming attack. Liam gripped his sword tightly. He had learned to see the battlefield not just with his eyes but with his mind. He could sense the enemy ships approaching, the energy waves that signaled their weapons. When the battle began, Liam moved with precision. He coordinated with the Kirelian soldiers, blocking attacks, creating openings, and striking with controlled force. The alien fleet was powerful, but under Solara's guidance, and with Liam's newfound awareness, the humans and Kirelians held their ground. During the fight, Liam noticed a squadron of enemy ships breaking through the defenses, heading straight for a human settlement on Kirelia. Without thinking, he charged toward them, using his energy to guide his movements. Solara followed, her presence supporting him in ways he could not explain. Together they intercepted the enemy ships, forcing them to retreat. After the battle, the humans cheered, amazed at how the youngest warrior had acted with courage and skill beyond his years. Liam looked at Solara, who simply nodded, a faint smile on her face. "You are ready for more," she said. "This is only the beginning. The universe is larger and more dangerous than you can imagine. Your destiny is not just to fight, but to lead, to inspire, and to protect." Liam felt a new confidence rise within him. He understood that being chosen by Princess Solara was not a reward, but a responsibility. He was no longer just a boy from Earth. He was a warrior with a purpose that spanned worlds. As the sun set again over the icy plains, Liam stood tall, ready to face the challenges ahead. He knew the path would be difficult, but with Princess Solara by his side, and the strength he had discovered within himself, he was prepared to meet his destiny. The following week was intense for Liam. Each day, Princess Solara pushed him harder, teaching him not only how to fight but how to think like a leader. The Kirelian ships had repaired their defenses, but intelligence reports warned of a far greater threat. A war fleet led by the warlord Koran, a ruthless alien who had conquered dozens of planets. Liam now understood that this was no ordinary battle. The humans were far from home, surrounded by advanced alien civilizations, and their survival depended on skill, courage, and unity. Solara guided Liam through simulations of the coming conflict. Each holographic battle was more complex than the last, filled with moving targets, unpredictable patterns, and multiple enemy fleets. Liam learned to anticipate attacks, coordinate with alien allies, and find weaknesses in enemy strategies. Yet Solara always reminded him that simulations were nothing compared to the chaos of real combat. One afternoon, Solara took Liam to a different part of the ship. The walls were smooth and glowing, and in the center a large platform hovered. Above it, a star map shimmered, showing the positions of hundreds of ships across the galaxy. "This is where we plan our strategy," Solara explained. "The warlord Koran's fleet moves like a storm. He expects us to react, but we will not react. We will act first. Liam studied the map. The enemy fleet was vast, almost twice the size of their combined forces. How can we fight them? He asked. There are too many of them. Solara smiled faintly. Strength comes not from numbers, but from unity and courage. We will use their confidence against them. We will strike at the points they least expect. And you, Liam, will lead one of the critical maneuvers. Liam felt his chest tighten. Leading a maneuver meant responsibility for dozens of soldiers, humans, and Corellians alike. It was more than he had ever done before. I will do my best, he said, trying to hide the tremor in his voice. Solara placed a hand on his shoulder. Your best is enough. But remember, leadership is not about being fearless. It is about understanding fear and guiding others through it. The moment of the first real test came sooner than Liam expected. The alarm blared across the command ship as Warlord Corrin's fleet emerged from the edge of a nearby star system. Massive warships, sleek and dark, moved like predators across the star map. The humans and Corellians scrambled to their stations, preparing shields, weapons, and energy fields. Liam, follow me, Solara said, leading him to a small squadron of fighter ships. You will guide this group through the outer rim and intercept Corran's flanking fleet. It will be dangerous, but your training has prepared you. Liam climbed into the cockpit of his fighter, the seat tight around him. He felt the hum of the ship's engines and the pulse of the energy shields. Beside him, veteran pilots glanced at him with surprise. The youngest human, only 17, was leading a critical mission. As the squadron exited the mothership, the stars stretched around them, and the dark shapes of the enemy fleet loomed ahead. Liam's hands gripped the controls tightly. He remembered Solara's words. Do not act first, see, understand, then act. He surveyed the enemy movements, noting the gaps in their formation, the weak points in their shields. With a deep breath, he gave his first command. Left flank, follow me. Form a wedge. Target the engines of the two outer ships first. The pilots obeyed without hesitation. Liam's pulse quickened as they darted through enemy fire, lasers and energy bolts streaking past their hulls. The squadron weaved with precision, avoiding attacks while striking critical points. Liam felt the thrill of leadership and the weight of responsibility at the same time. Every decision mattered, and every mistake could cost lives. Suddenly, one of the enemy ships broke formation and aimed directly at Liam's squadron. He instinctively maneuvered his fighter, dodging the attack, but he realized that one of the human pilots behind him was in danger. Without thinking, Liam turned back, taking a risky path through enemy fire to shield his comrade. Solara's voice echoed in his mind, calm but firm. Courage without thought is reckless. Protect, but do not endanger the mission. Liam adjusted his strategy, guiding his fighter with precise movements, creating a path for the other pilot to escape while keeping the mission on track. The enemy ship was destroyed by a well-placed strike from the squadron. Liam's heart raced, but he felt a growing confidence in his abilities. After hours of intense battle, the squadron returned to the command ship, the enemy retreating for the moment. The humans cheered, amazed at how Liam had handled the situation. Even the veteran pilots nodded in respect. Solara met him on the landing platform. You did well, she said. You led with courage and intelligence. You protected your people and succeeded where many would have failed. Liam bowed slightly. Thank you, Princess. I could not have done it without your guidance. Solara shook her head. It was not guidance alone. You made your own choices, Liam. You found strength within yourself. That is what makes you more than a soldier. That is what makes you mine in destiny. As the ship settled into the safety of the command ship, Liam felt a mixture of pride and exhaustion. He had faced his first true test and survived, but he also understood that the galaxy was far more dangerous than he had imagined. Warlord Corrin would not give up, and the humans were still vulnerable. That night, Liam stood once again outside, watching the twin suns dip below the icy horizon. He thought about the battle, about the choices he had made, and about Solara's words. She had chosen him not just for his courage, but because she saw something in him that no one else could see. Do you think I am ready? He whispered to himself, unsure if anyone would hear. Solara appeared silently behind him, her presence calm and reassuring. Ready is not something one becomes. Ready is a decision you make every day. You chose to lead, to fight, to protect. That is what makes you ready. Liam turned to her, feeling a new understanding. His destiny was not only about surviving battles, it was about inspiring others, standing for what was right and facing challenges with courage. He realized that being chosen by Solara was not a reward, but a responsibility that would shape him into something greater than he had ever imagined. The stars above glittered like diamonds, and Liam knew that the path ahead would be filled with danger, surprises and battles he could not yet imagine. But he also knew that he was no longer just a boy from Earth. He was the youngest human warrior chosen by the alien princess, and the universe had already begun to take notice. As the night passed, Liam slept lightly, dreaming of distant stars, strange worlds, and the endless possibilities of his journey. He understood that the war was only beginning, but he also understood that he had the strength, courage, and destiny to face whatever lay ahead. The galaxy was no longer just a distant expanse of stars for Liam. After his first major victory against warlord Karan's fleet, he felt the weight of responsibility pressing on him, yet he also felt a growing confidence, one that came not from his strength alone but from the bond he shared with Princess Solara. She had guided him, taught him to see beyond the obvious, and shown him that courage was more than fighting. It was thinking, feeling, and deciding in the face of danger. The next mission came swiftly. Intelligence reports revealed that Karan had established a secret base on the volcanic planet of Zephyra. The planet was surrounded by deadly plasma storms, making direct attacks nearly impossible. The humans and Karelians had no choice but to attempt a covert operation. Solara chose Liam to lead a strike team into the heart of the enemy's territory. This was his first mission outside the safety of the ships, and the responsibility weighed heavily on him. "Liam," Solara said as she adjusted the armor on his shoulders, "this mission is unlike anything you have faced. You must rely not only on your skills but on your judgment. The enemy knows we are coming, and they will try to turn your courage against you. Do not be reckless." "I understand, Princess," Liam replied, tightening the straps on his armor. "I will not let you or my team down." Solara studied him for a moment, her violet eyes soft but serious. "You will not be alone. Your team trusts you and I trust you. Remember, true strength is in protecting those who depend on you." The shuttle descended through Zephyra's turbulent atmosphere, lightning dancing across the red skies and volcanic plumes rising like smoke pillars. Liam gripped the control handles tightly, feeling the ship shake with every gust of plasma wind. He had trained for simulations, but the real storm was far more dangerous. When the shuttle landed near the edge of the enemy base, Liam's squad disembarked cautiously. The terrain was jagged and unstable, with molten rivers cutting across the landscape. The heat was intense, but Liam did not falter. His eyes scanned the surroundings, noting every shadow, every possible hiding place for enemy patrols. "This way," Liam whispered, leading the team through a narrow canyon that twisted like a maze. They moved silently, aware that one wrong step could alert the enemy. He remembered Solara's lessons on observation and anticipation. Each movement was deliberate, calculated, and careful. Suddenly, a patrol of enemy drones appeared ahead. They moved quickly, scanning for signs of intruders. Liam signaled his team to take cover behind jagged rocks. Using the energy pulse from his gauntlet, he disabled the drones without alerting the entire base. The team followed his lead, moving with precision. Hours passed as they navigated the hazardous terrain. Finally, they reached the edge of Koran's fortress, a massive structure carved into the side of an active volcano. Energy shields shimmered around the base and guards patrolled in groups. Liam crouched behind a rock, studying the layout. "We need to reach the control center," he whispered to his team. "We disable the shields from there, and we can call in reinforcements for the attack." The team followed Liam through narrow corridors, avoiding detection with stealth and timing. Every step was tense, but Liam's calm focus kept them together. When they finally reached the control center, they found it heavily guarded. Liam took a deep breath, remembering Solara's words. "Courage without thought is reckless. Protect but do not endanger the mission." He devised a plan. Using the environment and the team's abilities, they created diversions and struck with precision. Liam led from the front, disabling the main console that controlled the shields. Alarms blared immediately, and Koran's soldiers swarmed toward them. "Time to move!" Liam shouted, guiding his team through a secret exit Solara had shown him in the schematics. They ran through the volcanic tunnels, lava rivers glowing ominously around them. The heat and smoke were intense, but Liam kept his mind focused. Just as they reached safety, a massive enemy mech appeared, blocking their exit. The machine's red eyes glowed as it raised its energy cannon. Liam froze for a moment, calculating the odds. Then he noticed a weak point near its joints. Using his gauntlet's energy pulse, he targeted the weak spot. Sparks flew and the mech stumbled, giving the team a chance to escape. They emerged onto a cliff overlooking the stormy plains, and Liam called for extraction. As the shuttle approached, Solara appeared on the comm, her calm voice cutting through the chaos. "Liam, you did well. You faced danger, protected your team, and completed the mission. You have grown beyond what I imagined." Liam felt a rush of relief and pride. "Thank you, Princess. I could not have done it without your guidance." Solara smiled, though her eyes carried a seriousness that reminded Liam the war was far from over. "This victory is only a step. Corrin will not forgive us, and he will strike back with greater force. You must be ready for the challenges ahead." As the shuttle lifted off Zephyra, Liam looked down at the volcano and the fortress they had overcome. He realized that this mission had tested more than his skill in combat. It had tested his leadership, his courage, and his ability to remain calm under pressure. He understood that being chosen by Solara meant facing impossible odds and finding strength within himself to overcome them. Back on the command ship, the team celebrated their success, but Liam stayed silent, reflecting on the lessons he had learned. Solara approached him once more, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You are changing, Liam," she said softly. "The universe is dangerous, but you are becoming something greater than yourself. Remember, strength alone does not make a hero. It is the choices you make, the people you protect, and the courage to face fear every day." Liam nodded, feeling the truth of her words. He had fought battles, led a team, and survived trials that would have broken most soldiers. Yet he knew that the journey ahead was even more dangerous. Corrin's fleet still loomed in the galaxy, and the humans were still vulnerable. That night, Liam stood by the observation deck, watching the stars twinkle in the darkness. He thought about the battles, the victories, and the losses. He thought about Solara, who had seen something in him that no one else could. And he thought about the path ahead, filled with danger, responsibility, and destiny. He understood now that being the youngest human warrior chosen by an alien princess was not a simple honor. It was a mission, a challenge, and a purpose that would shape the course of his life and the fate of countless worlds. As the twin suns of Carelia rose over the icy plains, Liam felt a determination stronger than fear. He was ready to face whatever came next, knowing that he was not alone. With Princess Solara by his side and the strength he had discovered within himself, he would rise to meet the challenges of the galaxy, no matter how impossible they seemed. The youngest human warrior was no longer just a boy from Earth. He was a leader, a protector, and a force that the universe had begun to notice. And the story of his destiny had only just begun. The galaxy was on edge. Warlord Corrin, enraged by the destruction of his base on Zephyra, had gathered an enormous fleet. His ships darkened the void of space like a storm ready to strike. The human and Carelian forces prepared for the battle that would decide the fate of many worlds. Liam, now a seasoned warrior and leader, stood on the bridge of the flagship, his hands gripping the console as he surveyed the approaching enemy. Princess Solara appeared beside him, her presence calm and commanding. Her violet eyes glowed as she studied the fleet. "This is the ultimate test, Liam," she said. "Everything you have learned, every choice you have made will lead to this moment. The enemy believes in fear and destruction, but you will show them something they cannot understand. You will show them humanity." Liam took a deep breath. He remembered every lesson, every trial, every moment of fear he had overcome. He was no longer the boy who had first set foot on Carelia. He was a leader, a strategist, and a warrior with courage beyond his years. "I understand, Princess," he said. "I will do my best," Solara nodded. "Your best has already shaped destiny. Now act." The fleet engaged. Corrin's ships opened fire, energy beams cutting through space, shaking the shields of the Allied fleet. Liam's squadron darted forward, leading a coordinated attack on the enemy's outer ships. He gave precise commands using the knowledge he had gained from Solara's training. Every movement was calculated, every decision critical. The battle was brutal. Explosions erupted across the void, and the soundless chaos of space made it hard to distinguish friend from foe. Liam stayed focused, guiding his team through the enemy formations. His energy pulses disabled enemy weapons, his tactical choices opened paths for Allied ships, and his courage inspired those around him. Suddenly, Corrin's flagship appeared, larger and more intimidating than anything Liam had seen. The dark vessel pulsed with energy, its weapons ready to annihilate everything in its path. The Allied fleet hesitated, unsure how to strike such a massive target. "This is our chance," Solara said, placing a hand on Liam's shoulder. "You will lead the strike." "Trust yourself," Liam nodded. He directed a squadron, including humans and Karelians, toward the flagship's weak points. The enemy unleashed waves of fire, but Liam's careful planning and quick thinking kept his team alive. He moved through the battlefield with precision, dodging attacks and targeting critical systems. The squadron followed his lead, striking as one unit, coordinated and unstoppable. Karan, watching the young human who had defied him before, grew furious. He deployed his personal guard, massive combat drones with advanced weaponry, to intercept Liam's squadron. The drones were powerful, but Liam anticipated their moves. He led his team in a flanking maneuver, striking at the weak points of each machine. One by one, the drones fell, sparks and energy surging across space. As the flagship's defenses weakened, Liam noticed the command core glowing faintly. It was heavily guarded, but he saw an opportunity. "Follow me," he called, signaling a direct assault. His squadron pushed through the last line of defense, weaving between fire and energy barriers, reaching the core. Liam raised his pulse gauntlet and struck the core with controlled energy. The ship shuddered, alarms blaring as systems failed. Corin's flagship lost power, drifting uncontrollably in space. The enemy fleet, seeing their command ship disabled, faltered and retreated. The Allied fleet cheered, relief and victory spreading across the ships. Amid the celebration, Liam felt a presence beside him. Princess Solara appeared, her calm smile softening the tension of battle. "You did it, Liam. You led with courage, intelligence, and heart. You have proven that humanity is more than just fragile bodies. Your strength is in your mind, your spirit, and your choices." Liam lowered his head slightly, feeling a mix of exhaustion and pride. "I could not have done it without your guidance, Princess. You taught me to see beyond fear and to trust myself." Solara shook her head. "You taught yourself. I only showed you the path. You were always capable. That is why I chose you. That is why you are mine in destiny." For a moment the battle felt far away. Liam looked out at the stars, thinking of the countless worlds that had depended on his courage. He realized that being chosen by Solara was not just about following her or fighting in wars. It was about becoming a symbol of hope, a leader who could inspire others and change the course of the universe. The celebrations continued across the fleet, but Liam's mind was already on the future. Warlord Karan might have been defeated for now, but there would always be new threats, new challenges, and new battles. He understood that his journey was not over, but he also knew that he was no longer the boy who had landed on Karelia months ago. He was a warrior, a leader, and a hero, capable of standing against any enemy. That night, Liam and Solara stood on the observation deck of the flagship. The stars shone brightly and the galaxy seemed calm for the first time in weeks. "You have grown, Liam," Solara said softly. "You faced fear, danger, and responsibility, and you emerged stronger. But remember, true strength is not in victory alone. It is in understanding, in compassion, and in the choices you make for others." Liam nodded. "I understand now. My strength is not just for fighting. It is for protecting, guiding, and inspiring." Solara's eyes glowed faintly. "That is why you are mine in destiny. You carry the potential to change more than battles. You carry the potential to change hearts, worlds, and futures." Liam felt a warmth spread through him, a sense of purpose deeper than any he had known. He realized that being chosen by Princess Solara was not just an honor. It was a responsibility that would define his life and the lives of those around him. The twin suns of Karelia began to rise, casting golden light across the icy plains below. Liam watched, feeling the promise of a new day. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders, but he was ready. He had courage, skill, and the guidance of the princess who had seen his potential. He would face whatever came next with strength and wisdom. As the fleet moved toward their next mission, Liam stood tall, the youngest human warrior who had faced impossible odds and risen victorious. He was no longer just a boy from Earth. He was a leader, a protector, and a hero. The universe had noticed him, and his story would inspire generations to come. Princess Solara stood beside him, her violet eyes shining with pride. "Your journey has only begun, Liam," she said. "But already you have shown the galaxy what humanity can achieve. Together we will face the future, and we will make it brighter than anyone imagined." Liam smiled, feeling a sense of hope and determination, stronger than fear. He knew that the battles ahead would be difficult, but he also knew that he was ready. He was chosen not for who he was, but for who he could become. And with Solara at his side, he would rise to meet every challenge, protect every life, and fulfill the destiny that had been waiting for him among the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly before them, full of adventure, danger, and possibility. And Liam, the youngest human warrior, was ready to face it all.